welcome to the Tampa Native Show. Tonight's show is going to be about Chifles, Part 2, a love story. So I hope you're relaxed and getting ready to eat some of those plantain chips, those delicious plantain chips, because the Tampa Native Show starts right now.
Otra vez. I remember Tampa, the way she used to be, the places we would run to, the faces we would see. Yes, I remember Tampa, those precious memories, a city rising on the move, a simple yet progressive groove. I remember Tampa, she remembers me. Yeah. She remembers me.
Welcome to the Tampa Native Show. Stay tuned now for the fastest 60 minutes in cable broadcast history. Live from the studios at TBCN, the home of the Tampa Native Show. Join your hosts, Mario Nunez, the 15-Minute Girl, and Steve Canella, as they celebrate growing up in Tampa. From Shock Armstrong to Shakey's Pizza, from Braddock Street to Buffalo Avenue. Get ready to call in and tell us your stories, because sharing your memories has never been this much fun. And now, Mario Nunez, the 15-Minute Girl, and Steve Canella.
She remembers me.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Tampa Native Show. You know, if it's Thursday and it's 7 o'clock, it's got to be the Tampa Native Show. My name is Mario Nunez. I'm seated alongside my broadcast partner, Steve Canella, and the 15-Minute Girl. And there they are. Hello. And tonight's show is a very, very special Part 2. It's the story of Chifles Plantain Chips, a love story. And by that I mean we're going to hear all about the beginnings of the story of how the family came together and how the product ended up here in Tampa, and of course the love story that we as Tampa citizens, Tampa natives, have had with this magnificent product for the last 45 years. And I tell you what, I know the bags are, well, let me just show you, because I have one right here. The bags are, this would be probably one that we would consider to be a family bag, or a bag that you would share with the rest of, no, nonsense. Because if you open this bag, good luck, because I got to be honest with you, I've had a difficult time not finishing one of those man-sized bags every time I open them. We'd like to welcome back our viewers, and of course those new viewers that are finding us each and every week. Thank you so much for tuning in with us. Our sponsors, without whom their generosity, love, and affection, we wouldn't be here. We'll get to those names after just a little bit. We'd just like to say that here the Tampa Native Show continues to progress each and every week. Our audience continues to grow, and we know you're out there watching because we hear from you throughout the week. How privileged it is for us to sit here each and every week and bring you these wonderful stories. If you'll bring up the 5-shot now, we'll go ahead, Eric, and introduce our guest. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to say hello and welcome to Miss Stefanie Argudo and her mom, Peggy Argudo. Ladies, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you for asking us.
Well, listen,
it's a privilege.
It's an honor.
For us too.
And to be honest with you, when Stefanie was with us a couple of weeks ago, she brought several boxes of the product. And of course, we dispersed them to our friends and our family members, and we've been sharing, most of us have. And I think I've tried them all now. I have a personal favorite. I can make that declaration right now. I'm going to go with the plantain strips and the thin, which one? The thins? The ones that you...
The sticks?
No, not the sticks, the strips.
The strips.
The strips.
Yes.
Crunchy and delicious. Darling, do you have a favorite?
I like the sweet one.
Uh-oh.
Mine?
And Steve?
The mojo. I love the mojo flavored. It's so good.
They're all good.
The part about... Go ahead.
And good for you, too.
Well, the part about the mojo that I can't just completely get over is when you get to the bottom, there's that last few little bit that's just so coated with salt and deliciousness that I'll turn up the bag and I'll finish it, then I have to run to the refrigerator and get a big old glass of water.
I did the same thing. I sure did.
He's finished many bags, by the way.
I have. Don't give away all my secrets.
Well, they are addicting. You can't stop once you start.
Well, Stephanie, I tell you what, I'm going to turn down my earpiece so that I don't get an echo in my ear. We're going to take some calls after a little while because our viewers out there, they know how this works. And they can't win in the Bolita drawing unless they call in and share their Chifles stories. However, tonight we're going to take the top of the show and we're going to go through some photographs and we're going to review a little bit of the story that you heard 2 weeks ago, and we're going to let Miss Peggy fill in the blanks to some of those wonderful stories from the early days.
Can't wait.
If you have a picture there, Eric, go ahead and show that first picture, because this one we just got this week.
Yeah.
And this one in particular here, very dashing couple. I think this is you all in the early days back in Cuba. Is that correct?
Yes, in Cuba.
And you were going to church, if I'm not mistaken?
Yes, we were going to church, exactly.
Talk to us, and how did you end up in Cuba? Tell us a little bit about the story that got you to Cuba.
Long, long story, but...
Okay, give us the Cliff Notes.
Okay, well, getting to Cuba, my husband Segundo, I will refer to him as Segundo from now on.
Segundo.
My
He
husband.
shall be Segundo from now
And
on.
he was born and reared in Ecuador. But anyway, he was working in the Tampa Bay area with an oil company, and he was working out on the quarter boats in the Gulf of Mexico out of Houma, Louisiana. Then he got a job with an oil company to go to Cuba. And so he was sitting down there alone because they were working in South Cuba off the coast there looking for oil in the waters down there. And so Stefanie and Rick and I could not go with him because he was staying in a very, very modest little village. So the two children and I we lived in Houston at the time. And so he went on down there, and he was gone for about a year. And he would come back and forth to visit now and then. So he hardly knew his son Rick.
Wow.
He was there when Rick was born, and about 10 days after Rick was born, he left for Cuba again, didn't come back for 6 months. Long, long time.
Miss
So
your dad,
yeah, oh yes. But anyway, finally he was transferred to Havana, and the company brought Stefanie and Rick and me down there, and we lived in Cuba well, he was there 5 years, we were there 4 years. And it was really a wonderful time, beautiful time, even though it was during the revolution, but life in Havana was quite nice
Pretty
in the
glorious,
beginning.
huh?
Not too bad in the beginning, but anyway, we were there during the revolution, and 1 year after. We were under the Castro regime for about a year. But anyway, when Castro took power, then all the oil companies were nationalized, and so we had to leave. And that's when we left, and we moved to Denver.
But that was strange.
Quite a-
going
yeah,
from
quite
one
a-
climate to another.
And my husband hated it. Oh,
I bet.
because he was always from the tropics, and
Yeah.
of course he loved Cuba because it was warm. And we went to Denver in the height of winter.
Oh, wow.
It was February.
Have mercy.
February. I'll never forget. In fact, I think it was Valentine's Day, because I remember. Somehow I remember Valentine's Day, and I remember the snowdrifts were like, oh my goodness, they were over my brother's head.
Wow.
You're thinking, where are we?
And you'd never seen that
I'd never
before.
seen snow.
Yeah.
I
I'd
mean,
never seen
you know,
snow.
You go from Havana, Cuba,
Yeah.
to Denver, Colorado in February. It's like,
That's a
hello.
And Houston before that.
Shock.
Yeah.
Well, I was accustomed to snow because I was born and reared in North Carolina.
In a place called Carolina, huh? Carolina
it.
North.
That's right.
That's right, Tar Heel State.
Yeah, there you go. We were talking about that 2 weeks ago, and how did it come to pass that a young lady from a small town in North Carolina would meet up with a fella from the wilds of Ecuador? How did that come to pass?
Well, when World War II happened, I decided I was going to Washington to work as a young woman living in Washington looking for an adventure. So I went up there and I worked with the British government for 1 year, and then I went to work with the Department of Agriculture as a secretary. And Segundo got a scholarship from Eleanor Roosevelt, Mrs. Roosevelt.
Oh, okay.
That's interesting.
Yes.
Very.
Out of 200 and some applicants, he was one of 12 who was awarded a scholarship, but he worked very hard for it. And so he came, and I lived in a boarding house in Washington, and he came to live in the same boarding house. That's how we met, and I started helping him with his English. So it progressed from that.
Yeah.
I didn't learn any Spanish, but he learned a lot of English.
I bet he did. That's a great story.
And he was
cute.
studying there at the university, and then they sent him out into the field to do some practical work out there. And so he was, I think it was Phillips Oil Company he was with. So they kept him out there for, about a year. I didn't see him for at least a year, but we corresponded, and so things just kind of progressed. We were friends in the beginning, just
Sure.
friends. And
Yeah.
so things just started progressing, and then he came back to Washington and stayed there for a short time before he went back to Ecuador. So anyway, things just, got a bit
Well, that was a
cold.
love affair that was
Yeah,
tested
that's
early
really
as
cool.
far as
Oh, yes.
time
Yeah.
and distance and being
Yeah.
apart, so that when you had that little adventure or misadventure in Cuba where you had to be apart after
Yeah.
his son was
Oh,
born.
absolutely.
and
Well, we
you
were
guys
cus-
were
we
already
were-
used to that.
That's right, because actually he went back to Ecuador in late 66, and we were not married until 69. I didn't see him again until 1969 when I
No,
went down.
49.
I'm sorry, 49. And so anyway, that was a big event in my little hometown in North Carolina.
I would
I bet it was.
Going to Ecuador, most people didn't even know where Ecuador
Yes,
was.
yeah.
And I'll tell a little story about my mother when she found out that I was going to Ecuador to marry Segundo. Her remark was, "What do you mean going to a country like that where people live in trees like monkeys?"
Oh, wow.
You see,
Well,
people just didn't understand
No,
what it was
no.
like. But anyway, and I went down there knowing no Spanish, absolutely nothing, living with his family. And 2 weeks after we were married, he was shipped back out to the jungles because they were doing exploratory work out there for oil.
What an
And so I
adventure.
lived with his family for 3 months. But I learned Spanish very quickly.
I bet.
With today's technology,
Yeah.
what we know is that the world has shrunk completely.
It has.
Oh,
And
yes.
we know now that you can, with the click of a mouse, and using Google imaging, you can be literally over that thatch hut that you see right there photographed.
Yeah.
And but back then, Ecuador might as well have been the other side of the world, and
That's
of course,
right.
the wild man from Borneo, even though it's Ecuador,
Yeah.
might as well have been coming from there. That's probably where those stories came from.
Yeah.
Oh, of
Could
course, of course. But anyway, it was quite an adventure.
I would imagine.
And we lived there until he worked with Shell Oil Company in Ecuador. They were doing seismograph work in the jungles because he specialized in geophysics. And Shell Oil Company decided to leave Ecuador because they didn't find enough oil to make it worthwhile for them to stay, so they left. So Segundo had to decide, was he going to look for another career or come to the States? So we decided to come to the States, and so we moved to Houston, and we settled there, and we lived there for 7 years, and Stephanie and Rick were born in Houston.
Texans.
Yep, that's right.
Texans born and
Yeah,
raised.
Texas.
Almost raised. I said you got here to Tampa and you
That's
you
right.
kind of acclimated here. We've got a photograph there of Segundo as a young man doing some panning. We showed that the last time.
Yes, but Segundo is the one on the left.
Is he the little? Is
The
he a
little one
fella?
on the left, right.
Okay.
And that's a story in itself because he was born and reared in southern Ecuador on a big farm. It was a plantation that his father owned,
Uh-huh.
and they grew primarily sugar cane. And so he was born and he lived there for quite a while until he was ready for high school. Then he had to go into a large town to live with his relatives in order to be educated. But his father decided he was going out looking for oil. I mean, not oil, gold. He was looking for gold. And so, anyway, that's what happened. And he was panning for gold. And that's Segundo's mother, Aurelia. And she lived to be over 100 years old.
That's amazing.
And a wonderful, wonderful woman.
She looks like a wonderful
Nobody
woman.
could have had a
She
better
was.
mother-in-law than she was. So sweet and dear.
Yeah.
We heard how you came to learn your Spanish. We understand that you had nightly lessons after dinner. That after dinner there was,
My father-in-law was a wonderful teacher. He was so patient with me.
Patient, sure.
And he called me La Niña,
Oh,
the
yeah.
child, the little
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah.
And he,
Yeah,
and
there-
he
that's my grandfather.
that's
It's a nice looking man.
his name was Gabriel.
Yeah, I remember meeting him one time. He, he always had the white hair and the black eyebrows.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one time seeing him, and I thought, my God, it's Albert Schweitzer.
He was a very serious man.
Yeah.
He never drank, he never smoked. I'm sure he never chased women, but he was very serious about what he did, and
Yeah.
wonderful, wonderful man.
The sense that I'm getting about Segundo also, just having the opportunity to hear about him, and of course see some pictures when we went over to the store a couple weeks ago, was that I get a sense that he was a rather serious guy.
Very, yes.
Because he was raised in obviously in that environment and with his
Yeah.
father who was a serious man, so he took on that persona. But that in his later life maybe he's kind of got a little bit Fancy Dan, because I understand he
Oh,
had an
yes.
affinity for wild-colored shoelaces. You care to talk about that?
Oh, yes.
We saw the picture in the office. It's amazing. I wish I had a chance to meet him, because
Yeah.
he probably would have been a lot of fun to sit
Yes.
down and just tell stories.
He enjoyed life. After we started our business and business started going, then he kind of loosened up a bit and started enjoying
enjoying
life.
life.
Right, but he worked very hard all of his life. But anyway,
like it.
and he would wear these bizarre outfits. And I told him one time, I said, you know, if you ever changed careers, you would be good as a clown in a circus. Because he would wear clothes that didn't always match. He would wear sneakers and wear these real loud socks like they would wear when they played soccer.
Sure.
Oh,
And these loud shoelaces, like orange or red shoelace, whatever. And he liked for people to talk to him
notice
about.
it.
Oh,
Pay
he
attention
wanted to be
to him.
noticed.
Yes,
And you know,
absolutely.
when he died, what I did, I had the undertaker put those shoelaces and those shoes and those socks on him. He was dressed in a
Perfect.
nice suit, but
Yeah.
I thought, well, I'm going to send him out in
Sure.
style.
Of course,
Absolutely.
as he
Yeah,
lived.
that's
you know,
right.
in
That's
style.
a great
Because
story.
you know, I said it was a celebration because he lived a wonderful life. He
Yeah.
did,
Full
I think
life.
he did all the things he wanted to do in life, and it was just we had a wonderful adventure of 50 years.
Yeah,
Well,
I get the sense.
ahead,
Very
Steve.
lucky.
I get
yeah.
the sense also that you both were very brave, daring, willing to
Yes.
take risks.
Both of us,
Adventurous.
thank
you know,
goodness.
Very
yeah.
hardworking as well.
Yes, we were very
Yeah.
ambitious, and we had the same ambitions, and we worked well together. We were completely different. I'm more of the business type person, more serious, and he liked promotions, and you know,
And sales,
he was
sure.
he was a PR person.
That made
Right.
it work. That was
And
perfect.
we worked beautifully together.
Yeah.
He always told everybody I was the chairman of the board. If there was any problem, he would tell them, come to see me, come to see the chairman.
I would think also that the inherent differences between you, because of the way you were, I mean, from the two different worlds,
Yes,
vastly different
literally.
worlds
Completely.
that you came from,
Yeah.
Completely.
probably played to your strengths.
It did.
You know, and what a nice eclectic way to grow up as far as
Yeah.
Stefanie and Rick were concerned, because you know you had the best of both worlds.
Right.
We
Yes.
did. That's
You know?
what I said. I had the best of both worlds because, you know, I was always very, very serious until I went to Ecuador and we married, and I got to know the Ecuadorian people and really know them personally, because you have to understand the culture. And I got to know them so well, and I learned to loosen up and to enjoy life. And I was not
Through
so
them.
serious, and I said I had the best of both worlds.
Sure.
For us, it was always exciting because we never knew, you know, like for holidays and things, Thanksgiving, Christmas, whatever, you know, we didn't know who was going to show up or be there. You know, it was like, but it was nice, you know, because we got to meet people from
Yeah.
all different cultures and all sorts of things, you know. We used to say that holidays at our house were like the UN. You know, you didn't know.
What delegation was going to show up
Yeah,
this
I
week?
know.
We
I
weren't
mean,
quite
you
sure.
had no idea.
For instance, my
it was
birthday is
exciting.
January the 1st, and Segundo, he loved parties and loved dance. He could dance all night. And he always wanted to have a New Year's Eve party, and I never knew how many people would be there. There may be 50 or 75 people there, but it was a wonderful time.
Sounds
Sure.
like it.
We
Yeah.
thoroughly enjoyed it, yeah.
Sounds interesting. Very fascinating.
Yeah.
Well, and what strikes me when we see pictures like this, and this is the second time we get a chance to show
Right.
these to our fans,
Yeah.
is that, you know, Segundo was, from those very humble beginnings, you know, he applied himself. Obviously, he was book learned, and he
Oh,
and he
yeah.
and he took to his lessons.
Oh, yes.
So that, you know, because you can't be a geophysicist and not
Right.
know a thing or two about stuff.
Oh, no,
you know,
he's-
you got to
he's-
know a little math. You got to know a little science. So
No.
obviously, he applied himself. And look at the people he was kind of cavorting with there. You know,
That's
I mean,
right.
in Washington and
Well, some of these men, I think, were some who came with him
from Latin America.
from Latin America with a scholarship.
Tell
And
them
some
how
of
he
them
got to Quito to
Oh.
study.
Well, to go back
Or
to his background,
take his exam or
he
something.
was
Sure.
Well, when he graduated from high school, at that time, if you graduated from high school, you could teach. You could get a teacher's certificate. So he decided he was going to teach. So he went to a little town down near the Peruvian border, and he taught for 1 year. And he said that was not for him. He got all those kids regimented like little German soldiers. Then he left, and he went to work as a secretary to one of the officials of a gold mining company. And he lived there in that gold mining company. And he went to it. Back then they had to make their own clothes or have a tailor make the clothes. And so he was at a tailor shop one day to have a fitting for a suit, and he happened to see a piece of newspaper on the table. And he looked at it, and there was an article about these scholarships that were available for Latin American young men. And he decided then that's what he was going to do. He was going to go to the U.S. He did not know any English whatsoever.
Wow.
So from that day on, he got books, and he sat down and studied and read those books and learned some English. And then he, the guy who was the telegraph operator, told Segundo one day, he said, "I want to tell you something. I shouldn't, but I'm telling you that the manager of the mining company had an inquiry from Quito about you, and he said that you didn't know enough English and you did not qualify." So what Segundo did, he got up immediately, he packed his little belongings, he hired a man, and they went by muleback or horseback, and they traveled for about 4 days overland over the mountains and everything, slept outside for him to get to Quito so he could go to that office and apply for that scholarship.
Wow.
And he got there the very last day when they took applications.
Oh my gosh, what a wonderful story.
That's an incredible display of
That's
determination.
So adventurous.
Well, he was always a very determined man.
Yeah.
He never took no for an answer.
Yeah.
But just imagine someone doing something like that.
That's amazing. That's an amazing
Well,
story.
to
It really
hear you
is.
tell the story this way, I'm thinking there's got to be a screenplay here somewhere.
Yeah,
I mean, there's
that would be a great.
That's what
movie.
people always tell me. I should write a book and then.
Yeah.
at very least a one-man show or
I'd
a
love to
play
watch
or
that movie.
Yeah, that'd be something
Well, you
entertaining.
know, there's so much interesting about his family. I said it would put Roots to shame almost.
Yeah, no, there's a lot going on
Because
there.
I know all about the family back to his grandparents or
Oh,
great-grandparents, and very, very interesting. But anyway, that's how he got to Quito, and just by his determination, he got the last application in for the scholarship. Then he had to wait for about a year or two, and so what he did, he went to work with an organization that was sponsored by the U.S. government, and he worked there in the office. He learned how to type and to take shorthand. He learned that on his own too, and he worked there, and he learned English. So finally, he got
qualified.
He got qualified. He got called, and he came to the States.
Wow, the
at long
question
What
last.
a wonderful story.
question is,
that
what hasn't he done?
Really?
Not
That's
much.
true. That's
Well, I
true.
said he had such a full life. It's just amazing.
It's amazing.
Amazing what he
It is
he
amazing.
did in his life. I said
Yeah.
he lived a very full life, and that's the reason when he died, I said, yes, I miss him, I still do, but he lived a full life,
Mm-hmm.
and he did all the things he wanted to do. So I think about all the positive things and the
Sure.
wonderful,
Sure.
the
Yes.
wonderful 50 years we had
Yeah.
together,
Yes.
and they really were 50 years of adventure.
50 years is a long time to be
And he and I
married.
traveled all
Happily.
over the world. We've been everywhere. We've been every
Does
continent.
that little clean check bring back any memories whatsoever there, Peggy? Or how about that image of that airplane there? Does
Well,
that,
that's
is there a story behind that?
yes, that's the plane. I'm there. You see me right there with a hat on and with a fur coat.
Are you looking
Yes,
over to your
yeah.
left, the
The
black coat, the
dark
black
jacket.
jacket?
Between those two guys with
Yes.
the uniform.
Yeah.
That's when I landed in Quito to go and get married. I had my wedding gown and everything in my luggage. And all of his family, back then the whole family would come to the
Sure.
airport. There was a
Yeah.
whole entourage of people
Yes.
waiting to meet me.
And we can see that, excuse me, darling, we can see that you're traveling with your very own entourage, right?
Yes.
Party of one.
That was me.
Peggy, party of one. I'll tell
Everybody
you what.
said, what courage you had to
Well,
go
that's
there.
just what I'm alluding
Absolutely.
to. I'm not
Yes.
thinking today, who's going to do that?
Not too many people.
No.
Peggy, have
In fact, my Segundo said one time, he says, well, I hope my daughter never does that.
Have you been back to Ecuador recently?
I go all the time.
Do you really?
Oh, yes, I love it. I love his family. In fact, I have business
Would this
down
be
there,
would this
too.
be a great time to tell everybody? I want to share
Yeah, it
with
might-
our
might
viewers.
be.
Yeah, you know, Steve.
Thanks to Stefanie.
Steve has been thank you very much.
Yes.
Steve has been kind of having this hankering. I guess that's a good word. It's a southern word there, Peggy. You approve of that word. He's this hankering to go somewhere and do something. You know, I do that all the time in my day job as a flight attendant. So I like to stay home more than I like to travel anymore. But Steve's got the bug real bad.
Oh, great.
So recently he made an appeal to his new best friend, Miss Stefanie McKenzie, and she's got him all set up now, and he's about to take a little adventure of his own. He's got his plane ticket ready. He's got his little list out. I think he's his
Place I'm
toothpaste,
staying.
and he's packing his stuff. He's already checked out where he's going to be staying. So thanks.
Yeah.
You won't
to
be
Miss
disappointed.
Stefanie.
It's a beautiful country. Wonderful food. I've never eaten better food anywhere
That's what
other than
Stefanie
You know,
said.
Ecuador.
where you're staying is absolutely beautiful. It's central to just about everything. You'll really have a good
I
time.
can't
gorgeous.
wait. I can't wait. I haven't been on vacation in 7 years, so
How
I'm
long-
way overdue.
How long will you be there?
About 8 days.
Oh, that's not long
Yeah.
enough.
I know.
But with the
You
first
have to
time,
go
he's
back.
just to wet his beak a little
Right.
You have to
bit.
go back again.
And then when he goes back,
Yeah,
then
we're
the
gonna
rest
go
of us
with
are
him.
going with him. So
Because
he,
I can recommend some beautiful, beautiful things
And
to
I'm going
do.
to try not to overwhelm him with family.
Oh, that,
no,
That's
please do.
this picture right here.
That's a wonderful picture. Tell us a little bit about that.
On our honeymoon,
Uh-huh.
we took a train the day after we were married. We got on this old train, like a Toonerville trolley train.
Yeah.
And we went through the mountains of Ecuador, and we were on there with all these Indians and people. They had their chickens and everything there on the train
Sure.
with them, and so that was at the bullfight.
Wow.
We went
Oh,
to a
that's
bullfight.
great.
But anyway, that was a real adventure. The day that, the day after we were married, we went to Guayaquil in that area on our honeymoon. But what an adventure that was. And that's Tomas. That was that's
I
a
love that
Colorado
picture.
Indian.
That is a really,
You look
really
like a
good.
movie star
You
in
look
that
like,
picture.
if I can say so, Peggy, and my wife and I have been talking about
Yes.
this. You look.
Ravishing.
Who is that woman in that kerchief
Yes,
right, that little
yeah.
babushka thing?
You
Who
look
is-
like a movie star.
You look like you could have come out of a glamour shot. That's Hollywood 1950
Well,
something.
I'll tell you, we spent part
You
of the
look great.
day riding I rode on a donkey with a wooden saddle and
Oh my gosh.
a blanket over it,
Oh.
going out into
Ouch.
the bush because I wanted to see these Indians, the Colorado Indians.
Yeah.
They're called Colorado because Colorado means red.
Red.
Yeah.
And they take this achote, this red stuff, and mixed with some lard or something, and they put it on their hair to make it like a helmet, and they
Right.
put it on their hands and on their feet.
And it's a red color, I'm assuming.
It's red,
That's
yeah.
how they color
Right,
it.
right.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you were not to be denied.
No.
I mean, if there was a party next door, you were going.
Well, I wanted to go out.
Yeah.
I always enjoy going to see people. I'm very adventurous, and I wanted to go to see those Indians out there where they lived. We
Right.
stayed in the house of a missionary overnight, and that was quite interesting too. But
What was
anyway.
your wedding like?
Well, we were married in the home of a missionary,
Uh-huh.
and he was the first, I guess, one of the first missionaries to go to Ecuador
Okay.
back in the 30s. And his name was Dr. Reuben Larson. He's well known in evangelical groups because he started a radio station and a TV station there in Quito, and they broadcast all over the world.
Uh-huh.
And we were married in his home, so most of the people, I didn't know anybody. I didn't even know Spanish or anything. I didn't know anyone
Yeah.
except Segundo and briefly some of his family. That was it.
Tell them a story about the Jello.
Oh, well, and the missionaries at that time, there was very little food in Ecuador. You couldn't buy anything made in America.
Right.
I mean, everything was very scarce. And the missionaries would bring things when they would go down for, I don't know how many years, they would stay maybe 3 or 4 years, and they would bring all their own personal items, even food. And so there at the reception, they were very proud that they had Jello. Jello was a big thing, But the funny thing was, it apparently had been stored with these mothballs because the
Oh,
Jello
no.
smelled like mothballs.
Oh, no, no!
Not good.
That's never good. Never good.
And we recreated that for their 50th wedding
Oh,
anniversary.
did.
thank you.
Yes,
Jello
they did.
mothball. Mothballs
Yes,
up.
yes, we did.
The new flavor. Mothball. Well, there's a picture. There's a picture there.
We
and-
were on a cruise
Yeah.
over in the Caribbean somewhere. We cruised a lot. We've traveled all over the world. We've been to all continents, including Antarctica.
So
Wow.
even into those wonderful
dashing
glory
couple.
years that when people should be just happy sitting at home
Oh, no.
and doting on grandkids. I'm guessing you took to the nearest airplane, a boat, and got out of town, and there you were.
We both love to travel.
Yeah.
And he would just tell me, he says, you plan where you want to go,
And we going.
and I'll go with you. So I did all the planning, and I would go where I wanted to go. And I like exotic places.
Yeah.
I don't like to just go to a city and
Yeah.
stay in a
Right.
hotel. I'd like to go and see something. And so that's what we would do.
Oh,
We even
wonderful.
took a train trip all the way across Soviet Russia to Mongolia.
Wow.
And stayed out
Wow.
there in the desert in those yurts and with the Mongolians.
Oh,
and we've done things like that. It's very
Wow.
interesting.
We need to do a show just
Oh,
on
great.
Peggy's vacations.
Yes, really. That
Or
would
we're
be
going to
amazing.
start. Actually, what we're going to do here,
Travelogue.
and this is another, like a travelogue.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Peggy's
I mean-
travelogue. Or we're going to start maybe a new segment here on the show with
Good.
your permission, of course, and we'll call it "Where in the World is Peggy This Week?"
There you go.
I mean, you're a true adventurer.
Yeah, of course,
gosh.
of course.
She is.
If you'll indulge us for just a minute, this is a great
course.
segue, Stevie. Let's talk. We're going to summons up the IT department, which is
Oh, yeah.
Steve Canella.
Oh, that's right.
Just to kind of give you, and you'll appreciate this. Steve has a way through kind of. Well, Steve, I'll let you
Well-
explain. Diagnostics.
Well, it's like you might call it diagnostics, but it's more of a program, like a stat counter, basically. You can go and see who's visiting the website, where they came from, what they're searching in Google or what have you. When Stephanie was here last time, we found someone from Guayaquil, Ecuador, was actually going to the website.
And we figured it was family.
that same day.
Figured
It was my cousin.
Figured it was
probably your
kin.
cousin.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's cool.
And they might be on there tonight too.
Sure.
But we had some interesting visits today. I just got a few of the ones that really I love looking at this stuff because you never know who's watching. We had
very
someone
interesting.
from Moscow, Russia.
As in Russia?
Yeah, last
When
week.
you said Moscow and the Siberian
Yeah,
Express,
made,
I'm thinking.
made you think of that, right?
Yep.
Well, I'll read these real quick. We have,
Please.
just from today, we had 3 viewers from New York that went to the TampaNativeShow.com webpage. Okay, one was from Lake Grove, New York, Pleasant Valley, New York. Now, the third one was from New York as well, but it's from the NBC Universal Studio.
Wow.
How about that?
So somebody in that studio went to Google, searched for the
maybe
site.
it's Saturday Night Live.
Hey, that'd be great.
Maybe it's
There's
somebody
a
from Lorne
Tampa
Michaels'
connection.
office.
They're always talking about Tampa on this Saturday Night Live show. They really are.
They are. There's always, you know,
it's
they,
always
they're
mentioned.
looking, the Republican National Convention's coming.
That too.
They're probably
Yeah,
looking to
that's
see.
true. That's true.
They look at
You
Tampa
know?
TV, because if you do the Google search and you just put in the keywords Tampa and television, our show will come up on that first
pretty
page,
high.
you know,
Yeah.
the one step
Wonderful.
first, second, or third on the search.
Wonderful.
So it's, you know, we are tickled that out there in the universe of the IT world and the web world, we're being found.
We're being found. In fact, we had one more
So
today.
Serendipitously.
Stephanie, you'll be interested in this. It was from Fort Myers Plantain Products. So somebody in Fort Myers was
Fort Myers,
going,
Florida, right?
Yeah, was going to the webpage today, maybe looking at the old videos. We're not sure what they did on the
Plantain
site, but
Products.
we know they went there.
Interesting.
And
Yeah.
the fact that our shows will be now archived, well, they're on our website currently, and they'll also be with the University of South Florida. They're going to help us do something with what's called search engine optimization, which is make it easier for folks to find us.
True.
So all of these things, and Peggy, you know, that we're already at 30 minutes past the hour. We've
I
just
know,
begun to
fast it
scratch the
goes.
surface. So you know, if we get to the end of the road here and you just look at us and go, well, I got more to tell, don't worry. We got more shows to do.
Well, you just clue me where you want me to go.
We
because
got more- we
There's
got-
so much to tell.
We got more shows to do.
It's very interesting.
Do we want to open the lines to take a couple of calls and questions? Because I know one of your dear friends, Mary, who lives in San Francisco.
Oh, no, in Vacaville.
She called the comment
First show,
line,
yeah.
and she
Did
wanted,
she?
she wanted very much to talk to you guys, and wasn't able to get in. So if she's out there watching and she knew that you were going to be here, Peggy, she wants to call in. So we will open up the phone lines if you have something you'd like to ask the adventurous Miss Peggy Argudo. Please, this would be a great time to call. We'll give you that number. There it is. It's 813-977-6800. Call us. We'll take your call, your comment, your question. Remember the question of the day. It's just like it was 2 weeks ago. What did you call the plantain chips in your home? Did you call them mariquitas? Did you call them chifles? Did you call them plantain chips? And we love to hear from you. So go ahead and give us a call, Stevie.
And what's
It
your
looks like
favorite
there's-
flavor?
Yeah, that's another
too.
one too. What's your favorite flavor? And if you
Because
haven't
there's
tried
many.
them all, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? There's usually at each Publix, there's an end cap. There's a little rack there. I've already scoped it out. And it's got all of the different products, from the 2 different varieties of chicharrones to about 7 different varieties of plantain chips. And then you've got the yuca chips, the cassava chips, which we happen to have here on set as well. And yes, these are mine.
Oh, I tried the garlic the other day.
You like those?
The ajo, very good. Hey, we have a call.
The garlic and the mojo are amazing.
Those two combined.
Stevie, let's do this.
Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Yeah, hi guys. This is Joe from Seminole, Florida.
Hey,
Hello,
Joe.
Hey, Joe from Seminole, Florida. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. It's a great show. It's extremely interesting. I can go way back with the Chifles. We always call them plantanos. Usually they call them plantain chips. My grandmother would make up for all holidays and special occasions. She would make sliced up fresh plantanos, fry them up, add sugar, put them in a bowl, put them in the center of a tray, and then all around the outside, she used to put
sweet
the
ones.
plantano chips from Chifles, and that was chewy, soft goodness and the crunchiness of the plantains. That was just amazing, amazing, amazing.
That
Wow.
sounds good.
That sounds good, very good.
Sounds really good.
Excuse me while I wipe the corners of my mouth there, Joe. That was a pretty descriptive. Yeah, thank you so much. That was
Yes.
pretty good.
Lovely.
I don't know that there's anybody any self-respecting, I said this a couple weeks ago, any self-respecting Tampa native who took his lunch to school that didn't take a little bag with him. Now back then, you know, Segundo wasn't quite, the product hadn't evolved yet to all of the incarnations that we have today. But
Right.
you didn't need it because that wholesome goodness of that wonderfully salty plátano chip was all you needed. So you took that and you proudly displayed it at school, and you turned that bag around and you showed your neighbor, look, this product was made right here in Tampa. You know, hang a star on this one.
Sense of pride.
Yeah.
There's plenty when I was in Orange Grove Elementary with the plantano chips.
Oh.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and I don't think it was something that was restricted to Ybor City or West Tampa.
No.
I beg to differ. I think the product, all over.
It was.
From
Everyone
Brandon to Plant
enjoyed-
City,
And all points here in North and South. And of course now it's worldwide, and where are the furthest points? That's a good question. I
Yeah,
just
that is a
happened
good
upon.
question.
We have shipped some to Japan.
Oh, my.
We've shipped some to, let's say, Iraq.
Domo arigato gozaimasu. Hai.
Yeah, and to
England.
yes, England, Saudi Arabia.
Wow.
And we've set up another plant in Ecuador,
Have you?
as if I don't have enough to do, and
Do
set
you
up
need
another.
somebody to go run
I'll,
for
I'll
you?
check it out for
And
you when I'm
we're
there.
making
Steve is itching to get a job
we're
over
making
there.
the sweet plantains chips there now, and we're now in the process of starting making the salted ones to ship to some South American countries and also to Europe. We already have orders for them, and so we'll be shipping, but out of Ecuador to Europe because
Sure.
it's much cheaper.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You've got Buenos Aires there, you've got Santiago there, Uruguay,
Yeah.
Paraguay. I mean, they're all there.
Yes, yes.
Do we need to
And
ask
we
Joe?
ain't even
for-
said anything about Brazil yet. Joe,
His number?
Joe, I
can we
already
get
know
your
his
Bolita number?
We know it
Or
already.
shall we just tell you what it is? Joe's one of our frequent
Number
callers, and we know
Number
Joe
3.
very well.
Excellent.
Yeah. Know my
3 and
number.
7.
3 and
3 and 7. And did we decide that your favorite was the salted, unsalted? What did we decide? I know we the sweet, chewy, sweet, and crunchy.
Oh, well, yeah, the chewy sweet, the
Those are my favorite.
However you said that, it was delicious. I can't repeat it. It was just delicious. Thanks, Joe. Thanks for calling. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Joe.
absolutely. Bye.
Take
Thanks.
care.
Bye-bye. Take care. That's Joe Abini, Hillsborough High School graduate, class of 1966. I think that's right.
I think you're right.
66,
One of our best fans.
and one of our biggest fans.
Long-time
Oh, how
fans.
nice.
Hey, can I ask you? I noticed that you have a little piece of paper on the table
I
right
do, and
there.
I've been waiting
if
to.
This, if this is not too presumptuous a time for me to ask, what might that be, Miss Peggy?
Well, this is a gift for you to say thank you for all the wonderful work that you're doing in this program, and it's for posterity, and this is our gift to help to sponsor your program, and it's with a great deal of pleasure that I present
very
this to you
nice.
from Plantain Products.
And
Thank
if I
you
could reach
so
over there and
much.
give you a kiss, I'll do like this. How's that?
That's
Thank
very
you so much.
appropriate.
I would too,
think.
but I can't
Yeah.
reach that far.
Thank you
But
very
Thank you so much for your gift, for your generosity, and you should know that we don't take our little job here lightly.
No.
We attack this thing each and every
We
week
do.
to try to make it not only entertaining, because we know people need to have a little break on their Thursdays at 7 o'clock, but we also want to make it educational, and we want those people that might not be from Tampa, who
Right.
might find us either through our archives or through our live production, that Tampa's a special place and always has been, with a great history.
It is wonderful history,
And the Argudo family factors right in.
and
Big
we're
history.
proud to be a part of this history.
Yes.
And we call it here a preservation effort.
I think
which
that's.
it is.
I think that's a good. I think that's. And you know what? You can see on the corner of the table over there, we have some coffee from.
Caracolillo.
Oops, turn that over upside down, baby.
Caracolillo.
Turn it
Oh,
the other way,
yes.
baby.
Oh,
Caracolillo.
sorry.
I know that very well.
Yes, and we're trying. Fingers
Caracolillo.
crossed, Peggy. Maybe you'll have to make a phone call for us. Carmen Faedo, who is the matriarch of the family, we're trying to get her to come in and do a show with us because Caracolillo Coffee Mills
Yes.
is also one of our sponsors.
Wonderful.
But she's not quite as adventurous as Peggy, so she's fighting us on it. But we're going to get her in here to do
Yeah.
the show. Maybe we'll get you two
Oh, but
to
she
do
has
it
so much
together.
to
Get her with
Oh, my
someone else
goodness.
on the show.
And I think she's kind of getting the picture now because I've been working on her pretty good. Carmen, if you're out there watching, it's important to tell your story.
Yeah.
Waiting
to
on you, Carmen.
To record it, again, for history's sake, for posterity, so that your grandkids and your great-grandkids will have it long after.
Yes, Carmen, take that step forward.
That's right.
There you go.
There you go. Thank you.
Spoken
Got two calls now.
like the true adventurer that she is. Stevie, take that one.
Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Yes, hi, this is Mary Jo, and I'm calling from Tucson, Arizona.
Hey, Mary Jo.
Hi, Mary Jo
Hi.
from Tucson, Arizona.
I just saw Stephanie's face. She just realized who this is.
She's got a great big smile on her face. There you go.
Yes, I just wanted to give a little shout out, a little support, and say how much I'm enjoying the show.
Well,
Good.
thank you.
Thank you.
That's wonderful. This is a little digress. Mary Jo is part of a very special mailing list on the internet that I'm a member of. I've been a member of it with Mary Jo for probably 12, 15
It's over
years.
10 years now.
Yeah, and I don't know how many of us are. There are a lot, and we go all the way from Australia to Arizona to Vermont. We're all over the world. We stay in touch. We're just one big family, and we've all been together. It is a sisterhood. Honestly,
Indeed it is.
yeah, it is. We always say, this is the first place I'm going. If I need to find out something, we're going to ask the list ladies first.
Okay.
And honest to God, there will be somebody there who will know.
That's interesting.
I'm telling you it's the truth. Because we've got, doctors, lawyers.
It's my life resource, no doubt.
That's right, because
He is a key member of that.
you're just, wonderful. You have, what, the tortoises?
The desert tortoises, yeah.
Yes, she has desert tortoises, raises desert tortoises in her yard.
Oh,
no, you don't. You raise desert tortoises in your yard.
We don't even know how many we have there.
Oh, no. Okay, hold up. I digress. That's the first bell ring of the night, by the way. And we usually have one or two before the night's over. Okay, so Mary Jo, do us a big favor, if you would. Please send us a picture to show@tampanatives.com. Show@tampanatives.com. Send us a photograph. You can be in it if you'd like, and if not, we just want to see the tortoises, really and truthfully.
Really?
We
Please do
love
that.
desert tortoises.
Yes.
And we know they're prolific breeders, and when they do have babies, they have a lot of them.
Yes.
So we would love to see that.
They do have one thing in common with Tampa people.
Come on, they love Chifles, right? Come on, hit me with it.
They have mangoes.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
We just had a mango yesterday
We
at
did,
La
and it
Septima
was
Cafe, which is
delicious.
just down the street from your shop.
Delicious.
Ronnie Fernandez, if he's out there watching, thank you for that. Mangoes are amazing, are they not?
Wonderful.
My dogs like plantain chips.
Oh, wait.
All right.
So does my
And
cat.
we like your dogs. Thank you, Mary Jo, for calling. We appreciate it.
Thank you for calling, Mary Jo. It's so good.
To Stephanie.
Yes, absolutely.
you.
Before you get off the line with us, give us your lucky number between 1 and 75.
7.
Seven.
Luck.
It's your.
good.
We've
got a lucky
taken.
7 already. Pick a second one.
Okay, 5 will do.
Okay,
5.
great.
Wow,
There it
they're
is.
bunched up there between 3, 5, and 7. Thank you, Mary Jo, and please do send that photograph.
Yes, we're going to
Because
be
we'll
waiting
show
to
it.
see
We
that.
Can't wait to see that.
We will show it on the air. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We don't play games here at the Tampa Native Show, and we do actually, but we like to see those tortoises.
It's good to talk to all of you.
Thank you, sweetie. Bye
Thank
bye.
you for calling.
Bye.
Hey,
Bye.
I want to
Sure,
clarify
all the way
the
from Tucson. That's so sweet.
The email address is actually show@tampanatives.com, not show@tampanatives.com. So let's correct that. It's show@tampanatives.com.
Look at Steve, man.
Man.
The IT department
department.
never sleeps, Peggy. You understand? The IT department is always on call.
That's funny.
Except when you need them. Because then they're usually out on the town.
Of
But-
course.
Or they're in Ecuador.
In
they're
Ecuador,
planning,
that's
they're
right,
planning
in
a trip to
Ecuador.
Ecuador.
That's right. You're not going to reach me for a whole week.
Show at Tampa Natives.
There it
No, we're
is.
the ones that are always, excuse me, that's not right. It won't work that way. Yeah.
We got to
Well,
call.
and we've got some photographs that we're going to show in
We
just
have
a
to show
couple of
those.
minutes.
I wanna
Yeah,
hear more
because we have some
stories,
excellent. No,
too.
of course. Caller,
Yep.
you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Is this the fastest hour
It
in
is
people's
fast.
broadcast history?
Hi, Tom.
Well,
It is.
you know, once we light the candle, we just get out of the way because it just burns down to the wick, and,
Zip,
and
zip,
here we
zip.
are. Here we are. We're less than 20 minutes to go. This is Tom from New York, everybody. Hi, Tom.
Who's giddy for Chifles?
Good.
And we'll there's
There he is.
there's Tom from New York.
Oh, yes, I remember.
A heartfelt hello to Mario, Sally, and Tampa Steve.
Thank you.
And a welcome back to Stephanie, and a
Thank
special
you.
welcome to Peggy's mother, Peg. Excuse me.
Stephanie's
Mother
mom,
Peg.
Peg.
Yeah.
Hi,
Listen,
Tom.
the stories are amazing tonight,
Aren't
and
they,
we've probably cut ourselves a little bit short on the
Yes.
story end because we're taking phone calls now, which we have to do as well to honor our fans. But we've already got her under contract. She's coming back to do another show, so fear not. We're going to hear much more about those adventures in the jungles of Ecuador.
Peggy's Adventures. That's
Peg-
what
And
we'll
just
call
so
it.
you know, I can destroy a bag of Chifles inside of 10 minutes.
There you go.
my
There you
That
go.
long?
No, that's my favorite. I'm all the original with every kind of product. I don't go on to the different flavors. I always love the original flavor. That's what makes the deep down makes the product. It's the original flavor.
There's no question about it, and as I alluded to early in the top of the show, even though that's probably more the family pack, for guys like you and me committed to the program, Tommy,
It's a
That's a
personal
lot.
that's a
pack.
one that's a Mercury mission right there, pal.
Personal pack.
Keep your hands off my Chifles. That's what that picture says.
And Mario, tipping that bag for the crumbs is important.
Oh no,
Yes.
you don't understand. I've worked it into a science now. When it gets down
Yes.
to below the third of the bag remaining, That's when I go to the kitchen drawer, which is the catch-all drawer. I take out the handy-dandy scissors. I cut that bag off, man, so that I can reach in there quite conveniently. You understand? Oh, no, I got this down to a science, my brother. I've eaten 12 bags, man. 12. I mean, all of them.
What's your
I
number,
can't
Tom?
wait. I just dip the bag and get those crumbs.
Should we put you down for 42?
He's going to win again.
No, put me down for 75.
Oh,
Really?
75. He's going off the beaten
You
path,
gotta
folks.
give those other fans a chance.
See, he
Okay.
wins every week.
All
Mike. He
those
knows how to
folks
play.
viewing the Tampa Native Show right now,
Yes.
I've compared potato chips to the Chifles Plantain Chips, and I'm telling you, there's a light crispy difference between the two, and I want more Chifles, I have to say.
There you go. And I don't know who coined the phrase, bet you just can't eat one,
Yes,
but they were thinking about Chifles, even though I think it's sliced potato chips that coined that phrase.
I understand, Peggy, that you like mothball Jello.
See? Tom is listening.
know she
Tom
does.
is listening.
Yeah, that's
Hey,
funny.
Peggy, I lived north of Denver for almost 9 years. I
Cold.
still have family there, so the weather, the winters there can get pretty nasty.
Pretty cold and pretty brutal. Thank you, Tommy. We got you
Thanks,
down for
Tom.
75. Call us next week. We love you.
All right, folks, love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Tom.
Let's look at this.
15 minutes.
Oh, my goodness.
left
The
of
15-minute
show
girl got
already.
us again. My goodness.
She does that
Look
every
at
week.
that. That picture really says it all. There, you've got the
I love
delivery
this.
van, the factory,
We love that.
and then the trailer that's carrying the product off.
Isn't that incredible?
To,
We
to
want that
wherever
van.
it went.
That's Seaboard Marine, and that
Seaboard
will be
Marine.
that'll be going
I
to New
remember
York.
them.
That's what that
I'll be
was.
going to New York because the lady sitting to my right is the one that wrote those invoices out. She knew exactly where those checks were being cut to the transportation
Yeah.
company. That would be Seaboard.
We were trying to figure that
And
out.
when the destination ultimately was New York. Why? Because of the Latino population in New York. And you know they eat platanito chips, brother.
Of course, absolutely.
You know my Puerto Rican cousins are all over those platanito chips
Oh, I know
in
that,
Nueva
yeah,
York.
yeah.
Don't you wish you still had that van? The Volkswagen van?
Yes, that would be nice.
That would
Yes,
be.
it
That's the
was.
one. I think she said that she and Rick called it the gypsy wagon.
Yes, we did. We called
Apropos.
it the Gypsy Wagon.
You know those vans right now, if you had one in good shape.
But you see, when we
Pretty
started
penny.
that business, that was great advertising.
Sure.
Oh,
Wonderful.
absolutely.
Ahead of its time
It
advertising.
really was. I
Yeah.
mean, we because my husband went out and he drove that to open up the first accounts. The very first bag of plantain chips we sold was at the Columbia restaurant to the bartender, Peter. He'd been there, I think when he retired, he'd been there for at least 50 years. And somehow Sigonda went and offered him some plantain chips, and he says, "You bring me all," and these were we were experimenting in our kitchen,
Right.
and all that we experimented with, he took to Peter, and Peter would buy them, pay us $1 a bag. He would serve them with the drinks there in the Columbia
great
restaurant.
idea.
Oh, you know,
Great idea.
I got a quick question too. I understand some of the Chifles chips have been in some of the local movies, right?
Yes.
Yes.
In the background or actually
Yes.
Product placement?
eaten
Yes. Oh, yes.
on,
Yeah,
the, on the
and-
show?
Which ones?
On the movie?
Well, they were in, what was it? There was a movie Fighting with Channing Tatum and, who is it?
Channing Tatum, who, by the way, graduated
He's
from
from
Tampa
Tampa.
Catholic.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
I was just in that new movie. And then there's a new movie with, I think it's Matt Damon. What is it called? Sunshine Junior. That was
Oh.
filmed here just recently.
Oh.
We have pictures of, where was it? Jennifer Lopez and Mark Anthony. They at the opening of one of their shows in Atlantic City. You could see in the background there, the big media shots. Right there is a big honking
Chifles?
bag of
Wow.
Chifles.
By the way, Chifles was the favorite snack food for President Nixon.
Oh, really?
When he was president, he would come down to the Miami area and visit with his friend Baby Reboso, and Baby Reboso always had to have bags of Chifles for him when he came to Miami.
What a story.
That is cool.
That is
Very
neat.
interesting.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we've been featured on.
So they've been in the White House?
Unwrapped. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's amazing.
We've been featured on Unwrapped, on, what is it, Delicioso. It's on the...
Hasta el fin con Pepín. I bet you
Sí.
Pepín knows a little bit about Chifles.
And there's, what is it, Picetera picked us as one of the 10 iconic snacks of the United States.
Wow.
And I'm trying to, I think, it's just, this
We
kind of,
talked
it just
about it.
falls in our
It's never
lap.
ending.
We
It
talked
comes
about it
to
the last
us.
time you were
I
here,
wonder.
Stephanie. Not only are they delicious, and I'll repeat myself at the risk of repeating myself, Peggy, forgive me, but they're also a healthy snack.
Yes, they
They are.
really
So,
are.
it's not a question of,
No, I mean, really, it's a very healthy snack. It's when we say it's all natural, it really is
There's
all
nothing there but
natural.
the oil and the chip and the salt.
There's 3 ingredients, and some of them 2.
Right.
You know, and that's it. That's all there is. We're very honest and upfront about what's in it. To us, it's extremely important that our customers know exactly what's in our product.
And you know, I ate the whole bag myself and didn't feel guilty at all.
Well, you
Because I knew
shouldn't,
that.
because it's got far less oil than a potato chip.
Yeah.
A lot less salts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's naturally classified as a low salt item. There's nothing bad in there. It's not hydrogenated, nothing. And the thing is, we've been doing the same exact thing for 50 years.
See?
We've never changed anything.
change.
We didn't
It
even
works.
know it.
If it ain't broke,
We
don't
didn't even
fix
know
it.
it until about maybe
Good
10,
job.
it was less than 10 years
Well,
ago.
that's when you got fancy with the little fancy
Yeah.
flavorings, and you went sweet over here, and you went over there, you know, barbecue flavor this or tangy that.
And they're
That's
all
just
good.
because you probably wanted to change it up a little bit, just because, you know, I'm bored with
Yeah,
the formulation. Let's do something a little fun.
But when we went looking for flavors, we had to have the ones that are all natural, that are certified kosher, that have all the good stuff in it, because we're not feeding anybody artificial this and you know
we have enough
do
of that
this
already.
and that. You know, it's
Yeah.
non-GMO. We know that for a fact because I did some calling around trying to find out. It was so funny. The head of the, you know, classifying things GMO or non-GMO, it's actually out. She's out like in Utah or someplace like that. And I had this mental vision that, you know, she's out there in some former military bunker or something, you know. But anyway, I called and talked to her, and she's going, "Oh no, honey, I know that, you know, plantains and cassava, they're definitely not GMO. It's just not, you know, it's just not something that's done." Got to talking to her. Turns out she's from Ecuador.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
It was
Keto?
so funny, yeah.
Knows a thing or two about Chifles.
Yeah, and she says, and she was like, "Mommy, I know your product," you know.
Eric, we've got some photographs that we need to show because
Yes.
we've only got 7 minutes left. I want to run through these individuals. Go with the pictures of our fans. There we go. Let's start with this gentleman right here. This is Alan Antonori, who has a 2-bag-a-day habit. I want you to know, but
Thank
you
you,
can't
Alan.
tell that by his
Happy
bicep, by
birthday,
his bulging
Alan.
biceps. Who just had a birthday.
Happy
He looks
birthday.
great. And you know, he's like me, you know, he won't stop until he gets to the bottom of the bag.
Yeah.
That's Alan. Go ahead and bring the next picture up and just run through these. That's my mom and dad.
We
That's
know
Phil
those
and
people.
Carmen
How
Nunez.
How lovely.
And they've been enjoying Chifles as long as they've been in Tampa. My pop was born here in 28. They met and married in New York, but they moved back here in 51 and have been here ever since. My great-grandparents came here from Cuba many years ago.
and buying
The next
Chifles ever
photograph, and Chifles ever since. They've been in my house. This is the editor-in-chief of
Creative
Loafing, Mr. David Warner. And as you can see right there on the left there, he's got his bag
bag
of
of
Chifles.
Chifles.
Yep, he's got his bag there, and he's smiling because he knows what he's about to enjoy. This is our
Dr.
dentist,
Geyer.
and our dentist, and of course, he snuck that bag in there. I don't know where he had it in his filing cabinet or something, but he was working on us this week, and I said, "Well, you're going to share those with us, or what are you going to do?" He's a Hillsborough High graduate, class of 1974, and a Tampa native himself.
There's
And
Fran.
that's, of course, Fran Costantino. That's Fran Costantino, who apparently never leaves her house
Without
a bag of Chifles
carries
because she
them
has
around
one
in
there
her
in the car with her.
Emergency bag, right?
That's the emergency bag. She pulled that out of the glove box to show us.
That's her
Fran
airbag. That was
Costantino.
the airbag.
Of course. Beyond that, we've got, this is
Kathy.
Kathy White, who just apparently stole that bag of Chifles from Fran Costantino.
She's running now.
She's trying to get to her car so she can get out of there. And of course, the next photograph I think you'll enjoy. That's Larry Cotton.
Yay. Hi,
That's
Larry.
that's Larry Cotton.
And the boy ate them all.
Who came, he's got a sad face because his bag is empty. It's
Right.
upside down.
Right.
So that's Larry.
did what you did.
Just beyond Larry, you'll see this is Mr. Ron Fernandez, the proprietor of La Septima Cafe in Brandon. And Ron, apparently, he likes to squirrel his away in the little lockers that he's got there in his office.
He
That's
doesn't
funny.
share them.
He won't share them with anybody else. So that's Mr. Ron Fernandez. We do have
Great
one
photos.
quick caller. I guess we can go caller. Are you there?
Oops.
Caller, did we lose you?
I think we did.
Maybe they did hang up. Maybe they'll call right back.
There they go.
There's
Try it
somebody.
again.
Caller, tell us your name and where you're calling from. We've got about 3 minutes left.
Well, hey, it's Debbie.
Hey,
Hi,
Debbie.
Debbie. How are you?
I am well, thank you. Listen, what a wonderful show tonight.
Thank you so much. It went so fast. We got
Sure
we
did.
got
So
so
many
much
more
more to
stories
talk
to
about, but that's
tell.
okay. We'll have these two lovely ladies back.
To bring people in like Miss Peggy and Miss Stephanie, you know, you bring back memories that we only heard about. We kind of have them, but we've heard about them.
you understand that?
I do. I do, absolutely. And that's what we're
So
hoping
true.
to do each
So
and every
true.
week here is maybe fill in some of the blanks of the stories that, you know, we know Plantain Chips, but we don't know the story behind it.
Right.
You know, we know the Columbia restaurant's been there. They've got delicious food.
Actually get to meet the people and hear their stories.
That's the neat
Right.
part about it.
That is
we're,
cool.
And we're so fortunate that they came in to share time with us tonight. Rose, we got to run because we've only got about
It's
2
Debbie.
minutes left. Debbie, we've got to run. I'm sorry. We know your numbers. As a matter of fact, we're not even going to draw any bolita balls tonight. Everybody who called in tonight, our dear friends, they're all going to get a bag of chips. But they're just going to have to meet us at one of our favorite local eateries.
What's Rose's
And
number?
we'll give everybody a bag tonight, baby. No, but we're not doing a drawing tonight.
okay, we're not doing it.
Yeah, everybody's getting chips tonight.
It'll be all that in a bag of chips.
All that in a bag of salty chips. How you doing today?
You guys are all that in the bag of chips.
Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon, Debbie.
Thanks for
Okay,
calling.
love you, bye.
Thank you. Love you too. See our fans. They just love
They're
us.
very loyal.
And they call in each and every week and they just shower us with affection and we're so happy.
That's great.
And at the end of the day, we just are so happy.
That's because we give them stuff.
Got
We're
about 2
having
minutes.
so much fun. We really
About 2
are.
minutes to go. Bring up that picture of that fellow with the white hat, and let me just say real quick for the record, next week's show is going to be a reprise of one of our best shows. It's going to be a show that we did in our first season with Lou Piniella. So next week's show is going to be a
But that's not Lou Piniella.
No, that's Mario Nunez. Next week's show is going to be a replay show, so be sure and call your friends and watch that show with Lou Piniella. We'll be back.
It's a great show.
Mario will be back, and Sally will be back in 3 weeks. 2 weeks from now, we're going to have Sam Manna and Joe Caltagirone on from the Italian Club. They're going to be talking about all things with the Italian Club.
The Sicilian immigration?
Steve will be hosting and moderating because that gentleman there who's wearing the hat recently was selected by the Huffington Post to be citizen journalist at the Republican National Convention. So I'm going to be at the Republican National Convention for 4 days in the belly of the beast as a citizen journalist, and I'll probably be wearing that guayabera with that hat as my calling card, and so I won't be here in 2 weeks. Stevie will be doing the show. I just wanted to share that with you because you'll be wondering, well, what happened to Mario? Well, Mario
I'll be
will be
wondering
back.
what happened to Mario
Yeah.
too. That whole time, I'll be worried.
He's just going to be doing his citizen duty, and I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I know I'm going to have a whale of a time.
That's a great opportunity.
And it's gonna,
exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of
very
fun.
exciting.
And I know that for those of you that are worried about how we're going to get around and how things are going to go, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's going to be scary times.
You may have to camp out
It's
there.
going to be
It's
quite
going to be
an
like
adventure.
it's going to be like 4 Gasparilla parades in 4 days with the
Yes.
amount of people that are going to be here
Only worse.
and the activity levels.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing next week. 30 seconds to go. Peggy,
Wow.
thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for coming in.
You have to
tonight.
come back and tell us
Will you
more
come back and tell us some more
I will. I
stories?
would love to.
Peggy's Adventures.
Because we
Yes.
really do have some more to
Peggy's
talk
Adventures.
about. And after this gentleman here, Stevie, goes to Ecuador, he's going to have some
Oh.
stories
We'll
to
have
tell.
some
that
things to
adventure?
share.
We're going to do a whole show
Yes,
on that. you know,
yes,
so-
and then you'll have some things to share.
That's
Yes,
right.
We'll
that'd
just
be
have-
great.
And hopefully you'll be able to meet some of Segundo's family.
There you go.
We'll have a big coffee
I'll
clutch
do
and
it.
we'll just share stories. Well, everybody,
do
on
it.
behalf of the Tampa Native Show, Stefanie and Peggy Argudo, the 15-minute girl, Steve Cannella, and myself, Mario Nunez. Let's do it all together, everybody.
We're
Ready?
gonna
Salute and happy
days.
days. We love you, Tampa.
I know it.
We used to have a lot of fun, yes we did. No matter what we do. Sleepy days, long summer nights. Going anywhere we please. With love that I could call my own. Love that I've always known. The city that I call my home. A home from which I never roam. This love affair was meant to be. I love her and she loves me. I remember Tampa. Oh, she remembers me. She remembers me. I remember, yeah, yes I do. Oh, I remember, yeah, me and you. I'm a Tampa native, Tampa native, can't you see? I will share my story with you to preserve its history.
All right now, don't forget, Thursdays, 7 p.m. on TBCN, home of the Tampa Native Show.